Now, I read some comments where people are calling this a conspiracy theory diet. Can you explain this to us?
Sure. And we've had conversations about that because we did get, so I guess somebody just took it in that direction. But what it stems from, for the most part, is that I do go as far as saying is that what you have learned about diet so far is incorrect. So instead of, rolling along and saying, yeah, the food pyramid and the nutrition science, I say, you know what, the food pyramid is not something that you need to be going on. The food pyramid was put together about 50 years ago, more, I think, when weight gain was not a problem, and it was put together to help farmers sell their crops. So this whole diet science actually developed from, or for business purposes rather than to fix the weight loss problem, because weight gain problem, because weight gain problem back then did not exist and nobody anticipated it was going to exist. So when a food industry and the associated, which I guess you can call them politics, right? So okay, we're going to produce more low calorie food because that's what we have the demand for. So that would be the policies of the companies. But so when those particular policies and the use of the policies were developing, weight gain was not a problem and nobody anticipated it was going to be. So now, a rewind forward, or fast forward, I guess I should say, where we're at, and almost everybody is overweight, and it is a huge problem because some people are overweight a little bit and a lot of people are overweight a lot, and it's creating health problems, as far as heart attacks, and it's actually starting to take people's lives. So at this point we look and see, oops, we've got an issue. But there hasn't been any studies, there hasn't been any research, there really hasn't been much done in the meantime to say, okay, why are we gaining weight? What processes exactly happen in your body to create this? All this defaulted to the food pyramid and a simple advice, oh, just eat less and exercise more. And if it was that simple, we wouldn't have a problem, because almost everybody that I work with say, hey, I don't mind eating less. I don't mind exercising, or I'm not, that lazy. I'm not, that, much of a glutton, to where, I can't, give up food. I have no problem doing that. It's just, it's not working. And it cannot be done for a number of reasons. This is why this particular the metabolic typing diet study started. Well, actually started for health reasons. It didn't start for diet reasons. Even the person who started a metabolic typing started it from the concept of why some people respond differently to medications than other people. He was under anesthesia, and anesthesia was supposed to put him out, and lo and behold, it created the opposite effect. The one actually made him more awake. And so after that experience, being a doctor, he said, hey, what is going on here? Why our bodies respond so differently to different things that we put in our body? Which, things that we put in our body, food is one of the main, and most frequent, obviously, and by volume, the greatest thing that goes into our body. So, what happens when things go in our body? For medications, there are studies, but what happens when other things get processed into our bodies. And so this whole thought triggered the research that was done by International Health Institute and became known under the name of metabolic typing diet. And so they launched this research, I'd say about no, maybe 15 years ago, fair to say, and which developed into the metabolic studies that we have today for that exact reason that the studies that addressed weight loss up to that point basically did not exist. But the need for them, the demand was growing, and just like with everything that happens when the demand becomes great, something usually comes up that meets that demand. So the conspiracy theory, I guess, part of it is that, hey, we've got, a new innovative outlook on things, which the people who are with the old school of thought don't. Like I explained in some of the previous webinars, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying they're wrong on purpose. But, with that said, there is a very strong pull towards that's how we've been doing it all along. We don't want to change. That's just how it is. And, don't give us all this, new stuff, which is human nature to a point. But, when it becomes that rigid to where, they actually start opposing any kind of alternative concepts, that kind of, raises a discussion point that I touch on periodically. So that's the conspiracy theory behind it. Like I said, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory even, but it's an innovative thought that, some people for some reason choose to fight against, whatever their reasons may be. A lot of times it's just being said in the old ways, and, it's hard to accept that, gee, maybe what I've been doing is not the best thing, but I submit that stepping out of that comfort zone is what has always moved human civilization forward, and that's how we define progress.